I'm glad you're with me in the shop today. We're going to be building a specialty door, a custom door that I've designed. We're going to go through it step by step and build it, and we're actually going to use this door on next week's piece of furniture that we're building. To get ourselves started, we're going to just show you the size of the door. This is going to be 11 3/4 wide, 21 1/2 inches high. It has stiles and rails that are 2 3/4 with a flat panel, and I've listed my materials and sizes out here to the side, so I know what I'm cutting. We've milled our cherry lumber to thickness, and we're going to the table saw now to do our cutout. With our stacked dado set up, we can now do our tongue and groove portions of our stile and rail set. With our stiles and rails all completed, we made sure with a dry fit that everything fit. We were a little tight. I took my sanding block and I just sanded the tongue ever so slightly like that so that it now fit better in the stile and rail set. So our stiles and rails are ready to go. Now panel. With our panel cut to size, we're too thick to go into our groove, and so we have to do a back cut. This is going to be the face side of our panel. It's just going to be a flat panel. And we're going to do a back cut by standing our panel on end and making successive slices until we bring down where it has a 1/4 inch tongue to fit in our groove. I'll just have you watch me as I do this. Prior to assembly, we sanded the face of our panel and the faces of our stiles and rails because those pieces are not going to be able to be easily sanded after the assembly of the door, so now we're ready to assemble. Getting ready to glue up, I always like to mark my stiles and rails so that I only put glue where it belongs because we don't glue the panel in, the panel floats, so our glue will go here and glue our stiles and rails, and then always whenever we use a solid wood panel, we use space balls. Space balls create the space necessary for solid wood panels to expand and contract with heat and humidity. And so by putting a little 1/4 inch space ball in there, and we've cut our panel 1/4 of an inch less in width and length than the opening would allow, so that has room to expand and contract against our space balls. The space balls help it keep centered so that your panel is always centered as it fluctuates with heat and temperature. Okay, let's go ahead, put our glue on. I have a real small tip on my glue bottle, so that allows me to just put the glue right where I want it. You can buy these glue bottles from Home Depot or Lowe's, or I think you can even get them online from Amazon. I'll check and see. But it just makes nice to put your glue there and easy to take care of. Now we put our stile in there. Rail, stile. And I'm assembling the panel facing toward me, so you are looking at the back of the door. That way I make sure I get everything positioned correctly. Then I tip my other stile over and line it up. Stand it on my bench like this. Now we got our clamps. I start at one end and work my way over to the other. And I've cut everything to the size that I want it. So all I have to do is make sure, and I made sure my stiles and rails were cut square by using my table saw sled. And so now all I have to do is make sure that my ends are flush, and then when I clamp up, my door will be square. We'll always check it to make sure. We'll use our little framing square, or tri-square I should say. Let's see, how are we going to do this? Let's go this way. My clamp is in the way. Oh yes, very good. We're all good and square. So there's our door clamped up. 1 hour drying time minimum. While our door is in clamps drying, we've installed a bead bit in our handheld router This is the cut that it makes in the end of a board. We're going to go down both sides of our board here and make a bead cut. We have now turned our bead route into a small piece of molding that we are going to use on our door. Let's go ahead and let our door dry, sand out, and I'll show you how this goes on. Our door has now come out of clamps. We're going to sand it all the way through 80 grit, 120, and 150 till it's final sand. And then we have the added little special feature that makes this a special door. Let me go ahead and get it sanded. We'll come back with that special feature. With our door all sanded, we have installed a 1/8 inch roundover in our trim router, and we're going to go around the outside of our door. Now, if I were to just do a shaker style door with an 1/8 inch roundover edge, I would be complete at that point, but now comes our added piece. Let's go ahead and do our roundover, then I'll show you what we're doing. We're going to take a piece of hand paper, 150 grit, same as we've sanded the rest of the door. And we're just going to sand that little route that we just put on there so it's nice and smooth. We're not going to break any edges just yet, because we still have our final thing to do. Now, this is what we're going to do that it makes this door kind of special. Bead mold that we made. Now, I've added a little glue line to the back of it, and if you have ever heard any of my videos, you know what a glue line is. It's so that we can glue here, but it doesn't squeeze up into the little groove, this little V groove that we're going to end up with. And what we're going to do is we're going to miter this little molding around the edge, and it's going to create a little trench right here so that when we do our finish, this is going to capture glaze, and then in here it's going to capture glaze, and it's really going to highlight this door. So let's go ahead and miter our molding around the edges of our door. We're going to make our miter cuts on our miter saw sled. We've got it all set up so that we can make perfect 45-degree corners. Let's show you how. We make the one cut, and then we just turn it around here, measure our distance, and make our second cut, and we have perfect 45-degree corners. Let's go ahead and get them all cut, and then I'll show you how to put them on. Okay, and there's the door, basically the way it's going to look. We're going to go ahead and sand around. We'll fill those little nail holes and break the corners so that it's nice and easy. And then on the back side, we putty this line here so that it's all nice and clean, and sand it all. And that is our very unique custom-made door that I came up with. And like I say, what is really unique about this door is the way that it will hold that glaze in that little groove and really give that a unique look. Well, this has been a fun door, but I want you to pay attention. We've got a piece of furniture coming up just next week. It's going to have this door. It's going to be way cool. You're going to see what I'm talking about, the glaze. So we'll see you then on Woodworking with Wes.